Just continue to drink that water, saturating your spirit. I want you to start feeling that sense of drowning in the water, in that river of life. You're starting to lose, I want to say, a sense of yourself, and the spirit is just starting to heighten and quicken in your spirit. Starting to feel an overwhelming sense of his presence in you as you continue to breathe, continue to drink that living water. As you drink the water, start seeing the environment around you changing. As the physical is being pushed away, the spirit realm is being heightened. Start to become aware of the angels that are around you. Be aware of your spirit man that has entered into the spirit realm. And you can feel your whole being is just becoming lighter as you are experiencing that weightlessness of being in the spirit. Okay, I want you to feel yourself ascending, and as you're going up higher, you are moving into, whether it's the Garden of Eden, you're just moving into a place of paradise. As you move into that place, I want you to tune in your spiritual senses. So firstly, listen. And what is it that you are hearing? What are you feeling as you are walking in the garden? What are you smelling? What are you seeing? So just focus on each sense for a minute, just to activate it. And what are you seeing, experiencing as you are walking in this paradise in the spirit realm? As you are experiencing this realm, remember to breathe it in. The breath continues to activate your experience in your physical body. I'm just going to give you another minute just to engage, and then we're going to go on to the next. Okay, I want you to, as you are in the garden, choose a spot wherever you want to stand. Be it on the grass, the beach, the water, it is up to you. But I want you to, as you are standing there, be aware of the spirit realm, be aware of what's around you. And I want you to breathe in. And as you breathe in, you are starting to experience an awareness of the reverence and the fear of Yahweh. It's like in that tranquil place, there is such an sensitivity and awareness of Yahweh's presence. I want to, as you breathe in, feel that reverence rise up in your spirit. As you breathe in, feel that fear of the Lord starting to rise up in your spirit. And as you continue to breathe in and out, you can feel that fear and reverence of His presence is starting to churn within your being, and it's starting to grow and expand. So we're going to take some time out as you just breathe and you allow that reverence and fear of His presence being activated in your spirit, but go through the process of it rising up from your feet, through your legs, your body, your arms, and eventually your head. But go through the process, the breathing, the activating, and that your body is soaking up that reverence and becoming aware of the fear of God that is busy expanding and growing in your spirit. In your mind's eye, your imagination, see how that reverence and fear is entangling with your DNA, and it's spiraling around your DNA, and it's realigning, opening gates as it starts to rise in your spirit. Don't be in a rush. Continue to soak up. As you are experiencing that fear and the reverence that is rising and churning in your spirit, I want you to see Aleph from the feet rising up in your innermost being. If you don't know Aleph, don't stress about it. Focus on the presence of God. Aleph is a gateway to our ascension experience, Psalm 119. And as Aleph rises up in you, see it entangling around your DNA, aligning, opening gates of ascension. And as you breathe in, you see it attached to your DNA, you breathe out. Start to feel that the heat of your body is starting to change. The frequency of your spirit is rising. The vibration in your spirit is aligning with that of the fear of the Lord. So in your body itself, you should start feeling a different sensation. Continue to focus on a left rising and the presence of Yahweh, that fear and reverence within you. what I want you to do is now when you breathe in and you breathe out, see that your spirit man is releasing a frequency and a vibration. It's a frequency and vibration that resonates with the reverence and the fear of the Lord. So it's permeated your whole being. When you breathe out, see you releasing that frequency into the spirit realm. When you release that frequency, just see how the angels respond to you because of that fear and reverence being released from within you. Okay, next phase. As you're standing there, Yeshua HaMashiach, from the soles of your feet, you can feel the tree of life, which is Jesus, starting to rise up, starting at your feet. And like branches, just feel him rising up from the bottom and starting to occupy your complete being. Go through the motion of him expanding himself in you. Every aspect of your spirit man is being consumed with the rising presence of the tree of life in you. See what the angels are doing around you as Jesus just starts to rise in your spirit man. What are you hearing? See him entangle with your DNA. Because remember, you as man, you connect what's above and below, and it culminates, comes together in your spirit. Be aware of that fear. Start to sense how your body is translating what your spirit is experiencing. So in other words, for me, I'm starting to feel such an intense heat rising up in my body. I'm aware of Shin and the fire of Yeshua. That's like a fire, but it's a radiant light that is just rising up and burning in my being. Okay, as that presence, the reverence, the fear, that fire that is expanding in your spirit, and you continue to go through the process of breathing it in and allowing it to expand in your spirit. As it expands, I want you to see it's like a an old shell of your spirit man is starting to fall off. So there's a transformation that is starting to happen in your spirit to experience the deeper realms of Jesus, of the fear of the Lord, of his reverence. As this peeling takes place, I want you to be tuned in with Jesus, and what is Jesus showing you that you need to peel away? There can be something specific that he's showing you that you need to get rid of. And as you are going through this transformation, can be thought life, what you see, what you speak, what you currently engaged with. It can be anything. You just be aligned with Jesus as you're starting to go through this process of him expanding in your spirit. He's peeling away old stuff. And he's showing you what are those things that you need to peel away and get rid of. If he shows you nothing, that's fine. Just go through the process of the peeling, because in this alignment, Yahweh is preparing your spirit to start experiencing the deeper realms of the Hebrew letters, starting to experience the next that he wants to unveil with you as we ascend through Psalm 119 during the weeks. Sense that Lady Wisdom is also around. When there's a heightened sense of reverence and the fear of the Lord, you can expect Lady Wisdom to be there. She's helping with the unveiling, the unlocking of your spirit for the next. I'm going to give you a bit of time just to engage with that and continue to be aware of what you are seeing around you, what Jesus is doing in you. Okay, last phase. I want you to, as your new spirit body has been unveiled, and it might be still be a process for you, that's not an issue. I want you to first listen now and hear the glory of the Lord moving towards you before you feel it. I want you to tune in your spiritual ears. And as Yahweh is releasing that glory of His from the throne, what are you hearing as it approaches you? As the glory of Yahweh approaches, and like a blanket, like thick dark smoke with fire in it, it is like a garment that just envelops itself around you, and that weightiness, the kavod of the glory, it start pressures into your spirit, and you feel the glory of God being ignited in your spirit. As you breathe in, you feel how that glory is soaking into your spirit, man. Your flesh is being, can feel and sense that glory that is rising and is churning within you. And see how that glory, that weighty kavod, as a garment, is just enveloping in from the outside and moving in towards your center being. And as you breathe, go through the motion of experiencing and processing what that glory is doing, as I want to say, as it possesses your spirit, man. Allow your body to lose control in that glory of God. You're just completely consumed in it. just a demonstration to experience that electricity that's currently running in your body. So that in your mind's eye, just reach out your hand and you touch the heavens, sky. You take your other hand and you put it down and you touch the earth. And then feel how the electricity of that alignment of the kavod and the glory of Yahweh is running through from the top to the bottom of your being. And see how it shoots up and down, how it runs up your DNA and how it runs down your DNA. As what Yahweh is aligned is that your spirit man is just heightened in sensitivity as a conductor of his presence. And that weighty glory and the fear of the Lord, the reverence churning in your spirit. I want you to take a couple of deep breaths, and as you breathe out, see what your spirit releases. What's the frequency that comes out, the vibration? What is released from your breath when you breathe out? Now we want to stay in that position. So as you're breathing in and out, you start to feel that your physical circumstances are coming back into play, where you're sitting or standing, becoming aware of your surroundings, and you brought with you the engagement instead of leaving it where you were at. And you can breathe in and out, and you can open your eyes. Sure, I tell you, I've got such a sense of the presence of God at the moment, and that reverence, the weight of it, and my hands are tingling like big time. So it is pretty cool. I love it when my physical body responds to what my spirit is experiencing, you know. Alrighty. I'm just going to unpin my screen so that we can see whoever speaking will come to view. So before I open the floor for some feedback and experiences, I forgot to mention to you in the beginning, I'm changing something regarding our engagements. Every first Wednesday of the month, I'm going to do a mini course, I want to say. And we are focusing on unlocking our spiritual senses. So every first Wednesday, we're going to focus on something specific, and I'm going to teach you a little bit around it and do some practicals so that you can learn to unlock seeing in the spirit, that you can learn to unlock hearing in the spirit, and those kind of stuff, so that you can start working on heightening your spiritual senses that are aligned with your physical, and then, you know, to start expanding on your experience as a spirit being. And we will do that every first Wednesday of the month and compile it into a little teaching and a recording. I'm going to upload it on the dashboard on the Academy so that you can access it there on your dashboard. It's for free. You're welcome to trade into it, but you don't have to pay for it or anything like that. Goed. I'm going to open the floor. Just remember to unmute yourself if you'd like to share what you experienced.
I'd like to share.
Go for it, Paulo.
Okay. When we just started to breathe in and out, I heard Jesus speaking to me. I just heard the word title deed quite loud, and I wasn't sure what it was about. So I asked, and I heard ownership. So I just left it there, kept breathing, seeing and going where you're saying. But when I started breathing in the water, I went down. I misunderstood. I went down. And then all of a sudden, there was nothing. It was like being in the middle of the sea. It was black, and I knew there was a lot beneath me and around me that I couldn't see. And I felt a bit panicked. It was weird. And then I saw this gold, it looked like a stingray, golden bright thing coming towards me. And then I realized it was an angel and not a fish. I apologized to the angel for thinking it was a fish. But it actually showed me that I'm at the wrong place. And then you said, as you are going up, I'm like, oh man. So I went up, and then all of a sudden it changed. I actually wrote it down this time, so I don't forget. I was walking in it looked like a garden, like on an island, very tropical, very green. And the feeling I got was I felt safe and I felt free. It was only me and Jesus. There was no other people there except the angels, but I felt it was just peaceful. And I could smell. First time that I could actually smell. I struggle with that and taste, but I smell sweet. Smell. First thought it smelled like those fake grape lollipops. It smelled like that, and then I realized no, it's honey. It's like a honey smell, fruity. It was good. It wasn't a fake grape. And I saw two white pillars to my left. I wanted to go there, and Jesus said no, so I left that. And then when you said, I could feel that the whole place had a vibration that was different to what I knew, and the frequency, the sound. And when it started moving up, first it felt like if you have pins and needles that going, and then it started feeling warm. And I could hear a sound like a song without words, just I don't know how to explain it. And I saw Jesus saying, listen, and then no, just keep track, yeah. Oh, and then I looked like when the tree expanded, it was so big. It was like branches growing, just not stopping. And then this bright white light like took it over. I couldn't see the branches anymore, just this bright light. And then you said, Lady Wisdom, and I remembered the first time I saw it, it was this beautiful white light. I was like, oh, okay, I forgot. And then what was sticking to me looked like lava. It was dry, very black, coarse rock. It exploded. I don't know what it is, because I was trying to listen if it's something specific, but I think it's maybe more than one thing. And I felt the Lord saying, take ownership of who you are. To embrace who He made us to be, and if you are different, you're not supposed to be like everybody else, and to embrace it, and stop trying to please people, even in little things like the way you dress, or the way you do your hair, or the way you speak, because especially Pretoria East, and I felt very strongly with the frequency. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, the frequency in that paradise what was wrong in me is a religious spirit, something that we grew up with and were taught to, it wasn't welcome there at all. Okay. All the our lips was blue, very blue. I don't know why. Okay. And then the glory of God was also I heard a sound, and then it felt like a wind, but it wasn't a strong wind. It was just like a presence, and I feel like physically something has changed in me, physically as well as spiritually, but definitely physically something has changed. And I want to declare before everyone that it is not, I will not partner with COVID and having the effects, after effects, because everyone is telling me because I have COVID, nonsense. I'm a child of God and a son of God, and there will be no some extra nonsense. It's not my portion. I will not receive it. I'm just telling everyone.
Thank you, Paula.
Appreciate
you sharing. All right, who'd like to share next? Go for it, Dorette.
Hey, wow, this was so much. I'll just try not to make it too long. So just share what Yahweh puts on my heart. I started out when we went into the garden, I saw purple trees. This is a place I have been before. And but it was wonderful to explore it again. And the ground was very soft and the trees were kind of soft too, so you could lean against them and it felt really good. And but I just made myself comfortable. And then there was this white stallion coming towards me and he kind of nuzzled me like, come, get up. And so he took me on his back and actually took me to a beach where Yahweh and Holy Spirit and Jesus were waiting for me on their own horses. And this was the moment that you actually brought us to the place of experiencing the reverence. And so I got off my horse and I knelt on the beach, and Yahweh said, no, I don't want you to kneel, because when you kneel, you let it wash over you, but I wanted to transform you. So stand up and let it change you. And so this is something I've noticed in worship too in the past week. So it's like, okay, thank you for confirming that. And so as I let him start to change me, first of all, he showed me a new way from his heart to my heart. And then he showed me how another way of engaging with him was in seeing his goodness in other people. And then the third way, this is really overwhelming, was like when every cell in my body started to cry out for Yahweh. And then I noticed it wasn't just me, but it was all of creation around me as well. It's like everything is crying out for him. And wow, even now that overwhelms me. So then when you asked us to see the tree of life rising up within us, it became a huge fire. And he said, and then one of the things he asked me to get rid of was my inner darkness. And I gave it to him, and he stepped into it and just filled it with his love. And then he placed his hand on the door handle. And as I opened it, actually, he said, daughter, we are ready for fire. And I saw the fire purifying relationships from fear, from manipulation. And then I stepped into the cloud of his glory, and I heard many voices. I felt the lightning inside of me, and I smelled frankincense and myrrh. And then he said to me, can I finally take that rock and smash it? And I was like, okay, which rock? And he said, the rock of the pain that has held you back every time. And I know what it is. So, and I said, yes, you can have it now. And I just feel beyond free, beyond his love, and everything just overwhelmed at this point. So thank you for taking us there.
Awesome, Dorette. Thank you for sharing. Guys, there's a tip there. You can go and you can sort out whatever issue there is without a counselor. So in other words, doesn't mean we don't need a counselor, we don't need counseling or anything like that. But as you mature of a son of God, you start to learn how to engage Jesus and how he sorts it out for you. And so I love Dorette's example because I want you guys to take note of that. That's how we really start growing. When we don't look to man for our stuff being sorted out, we go to Jesus. He's the one that aligns, he shows you, and 1 minute on that carpet and you are done. Perfect. Who would like to share next? Marilee, go for it. And then you can go, Paul.
I'm just going to share a little portion of what I went through because, wow, that was a lot. Where we engage with Lady Wisdom, throughout I saw a lot of blue and green color, sort of electric blue and green and some violet. The colors were present all the time. And then when Lady Wisdom was around, she was dressed in blue and green. And it was this, well, which period, 16th, 17th century type dress. And she took those wide skirts and she started sweeping it through me. It went through my entire body. And this was actually quite strange. It felt as if she opened up a channel in me. Now, I grew up on farms, and my grandfather had a farm where they had these little furrows that came from water that came through. Every farmer had a turn on a specific day where they could take water out of the mainstream and water their lands. And they would take spades and open up the mainstream so that the water would come through. So I felt as if her dress swept through my left brain especially, and it opened up a channel through to my right arm, and there was water flowing through, and it washed my left brain and the water going through out through my right arm. So it's quite strange and weird, but it was such a strong experience of, and I just felt that I was born very much a right brain person, a creative person. But through my life, through the way my life went, I had to grow my left brain, and it became a kind of a confinement for me. It structured my thinking away from the creativity, and I just feel as if this process tonight have broken that, and that this division between my left and right brain is broken down, because I believe God wants us to have a whole brain experience. So yes, wonderful, thanks.
I love that, Marilee. I'm learning something from you because I'm also like mega right brain. You get right, very right, far right. That's me. Left, admin. It's like a swear word, you know. But I like what you're saying. We are one now. There's no left or right. There's a completeness being developed. Cool.
Hi, that really was an amazing engagement. I'll just take one element of the engagement and share. And at the end of it, I have a question which is related to, Charles, what you mentioned about the first Wednesday of each month. So this part of the engagement I will choose is with regards to when like the Spirit of the Lord was like blowing towards us. And you mentioned about something breaking open. I might not have the exact word, I'm paraphrasing here. I saw myself was encased in like a peanut shell, but not just one part of the peanut. You know, peanuts sometimes can have 2 nuts within it. So that opened, and in the opening, I saw obviously the young nut, still fully ripe, ready for picking, but it was kind of whitish in color. And as I was exposed to the waves and the frequency of what was happening, I sensed it was hardening off. And that hardening off was when you mentioned that the spirit of wisdom is there. So in the frequency of that hardening off, I sense as though the Lord saying to me, break off doubt and leave doubt behind. And the hardening off through the spirit of wisdom was what I needed to expose something that he's asked me to do. And it is in the exposure of this that the hardening off of the nut is me maturing in the area that he's calling me to mature in. So thank you very much for that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Paul.
The question that I had when you mentioned about sense something coming through your feet, I often see myself as like mist, which merges with the Holy Spirit. So that's how we merge together. And when you mentioned the mist coming through our feet, I then had to recalibrate how that is happening. So I saw myself as an image that you had shown some time ago. And I think you called it, it's like a 3D, I can't remember the word you used.
Hologram.
That is the word. I immediately then reprogrammed how I saw things and saw myself as a hologram where the energy was rising through my feet. And similar to Dorette, the ground where I normally meet with Father in the garden was soft. But what I sensed from him was like the frequency energy coming through, not just him, but through the ground. So my question is, could you at some point help us to understand and differentiate what it is when we're there in the spirit? Is it just our spirit that's there? And when you mention about our bodies being there as well, I know my body's physically here, but what do you mean by our body being there? So it's just a differentiation between the location of body, soul, and spirit, and how each is interacted with the spiritual realm.
Yes. So of course your physical body is here in the physical realm, but to understand that we as a new creation being, that your body, soul, and spirit are interlinked to have a complete spiritual experience. So traditionally, a religious spirit, you know, everything of the flesh is always sin focused. But why would God give you a body? What's the purpose of the body? You know, why do you have a soul? Why do you have a spirit? It's because each one has a function in the 3 realms to bring it together so that you have a complete experience of what's going on in the spirit. Your mind, your will, and emotions are there to grow and to translate what your spirit body is experiencing, relaying it back to your physical body so that your physical body can act out what your spirit is experiencing. So that's why when we have an ascension, you will often feel that your body might be experiencing a tingling or, you know, stuff like that, you know. So your spirit is as equally important as your physical body, as your soul is, because the 3 work intertwined for a complete experience of the spirit realm. So yes, your spirit is the one that is now connected to the spirit realm, but the one relays through to the other and ultimately to your body. Change the way you look at yourself as a person. We always see ourselves, if you look at me now, here's my body, and then we think of our soul and our spirit that's on the inside, but that's the wrong way of looking at it. You got your body, you got your soul, and you got your spirit. that's that way around, that we operate as new creation beings. And your spirit man is expansive. So in other words, you know, if I want to influence an environment, I always see myself standing, whether it's in the office or wherever, and I just breathe and I just start to see my spirit start to expand into the room or wherever you are, because you are the one who is able to change the atmosphere within a given room or etc. So change the way you think about your spirit. Isn't captive in your body. It's your body, it's your soul and your spirit. So does that help, those answers, Paul?
To some extent it does. I still need a paradigm shift as I continue to learn how to learn from this, but thank you for that, and I will watch. Yeah, thank you.
Evie.
Okay, I'm going to try to be short, but first I just want to honor you and thank you for what you're doing, because wow. Okay, so thanks. To not take up too much time, everyone is talking about something kind of similar where the Lord has been touching us, and that's why I said, okay, I'll share this. We each have a background and a place where we've come from, but who we really are is where he's taking us back to. And when we were praying, when we were ascending, when we were in his presence, I saw him take my eardrum. You know how it's coiled like in a circle? And then I saw final pay come and sit on it. And everything from my past of words, the frequency vibration of sound and words from anyone and anything that has ever been in my life, he removed it. And he says, because you are one of my sheep, just like everybody on the call, we hear his voice now from now on. Even if it's news about COVID, if it's some disaster in the future, we don't get penetrated in our eardrum, in our auditive area, in the spirit or in the flesh by it, because we have the shield of the Hebrew living letters to protect us. And then the coil went the other way and it was wider because there wasn't a tense knotting anymore. It was like open and flowing. And I kept seeing myself not as an ice cube that's blue, but like transparency kind of bluey like. And I cracked, like I literally, something cracked after he showed me that. It just cracked. And I think we all have that feeling that something when we were unskinned or different. And I've been praying literally about, Lord, how do I be triune myself, spirit, soul, and body, that my body not be, over it. And part of it is what you're teaching us and where we're going. But I was just so impressed how he can take one of the letters in Yeshua and how he can use part of our body and show us where we've had problems and then totally turn it around and change it. And he says, from now on, the shield of the letters are there in your being. So no matter what anyone says, those triggers aren't going to happen or occur anymore. So I just wanted to share that and say thank you.
Woohoo, that's awesome stuff. Thank you, Evie. Nikki.
Hi. That was really good, Evie. I would like to receive that for myself. That was amazing. First, thank you. This is my first time here, and what an experience. I've been yearning and longing for a community like this. So anyway, I'll just share with you what I, just a couple of things. First of all, whenever you took us into the living water, the river of life, which by the way, my son is named for, his name is River. It was a really cool experience. This has never happened to me where I've been in the river before, but this time the river went through me. And so it wasn't just around me. I wasn't just swimming in it. Like I just sort of fell back into it and it like swished through me. And so the Lord was showing me that he's refreshing me and renewing me. And then whenever you spoke to the Aleph coming up through our DNA, it went up into the vessels of my heart, the atria and the ventricles of my heart, and it unlocked doors in my heart, or the gates. You said gates, so it was unlocking gates in my heart. I'm going through a lot of transition in my life right now, and that was really significant and powerful for me. And I want to go deeper into that later. But and then whenever you talked about the shin and the fire of the Lord, and the shin, literally, so right now I do have COVID right now, and my whole family does. And literally, whenever I first had it, it felt like a firestorm surging through my body. And so what the shin showed me was that it was actually, and the Lord had shown me this night before last, where, you know, the enemy likes to do an inverse of a thing, right? So whatever God is doing, the enemy will try to do the inversion of that. And so what he's actually doing is releasing a new holy fire in me. And I could see with the shin, this, it was like lava through my body, but it was holy fire, where he is removing things that are not of him, that have impacted me. And so he's, like you were saying with your spirit, the peeling off. And so that was going on with I would say even, you know, body, spirit, and soul, like all of it. But mainly with the spirit, it was, you know, self does not belong there. So I'm very aware of myself all the time. And he's like, stop being so aware of yourself. Just be aware of me. And that was very freeing and liberating. So that's what I'll share. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Nikki. I appreciate that very much. And welcome to the family.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Is there last person? Anybody still want to share before we head towards the end? Cool bananas. Your oaks are amazing, like big time. And did you want to share, Susan?
Oh, just the God talks to me a lot through verses, and then it goes into like experiences. And, you know, it says, the words that I say to you are spirit and their life. And so when you were talking and framing things like Lady Wisdom is here, it's like all of a sudden the atmosphere would just shift into an awareness of that. And then it was just so wonderful, the interplay between what you were sharing and then how we kind of walked into that experience. And of course, it's different for personalities and where we are and stuff. And it was like opening this beautiful place of just rest that just felt warm and just quiet. And then it's like you give these times to be incubators. And then you just sit there, and then all of a sudden something just drops into softness and deeper. And it's so precious because you're like the tour guide. You're the bus driver, and you sense different things that the Lord wants to do, and your words are actually communicating and making those spaces for then however the Lord and wisdom and the angelic and whatever are encountering us. So thank you, because you're not just teaching, you're bringing life words. And so thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. It's a big pleasure. Thank you, Susan, for sharing. Appreciate it. Last person, Jolyn.
Yay, that was awesome. Oh my gosh, that was so great. Okay, so I love listening to everybody's comments because I was tracking. It was so cool. It's like, yay me. But I also saw pecan, you know, cracking when you said go and start peeling back. I mean, normally you would think of an onion, but I just saw like a hammer to a pecan. And when the pecan broke, it just was this illuminating light that just shot forth out of the pecan. It was incredible. And then when you mentioned Lady Wisdom, when, you know, as if she was coming to engage, or she was coming to engage, I'm like, what do you have to say to me? You know, where can I, what can you share? How can you help me and assist me? And she was like the Statue of Liberty. And she brought a torch and she put it inside of me, and that torch lit up my brain. So I thought it went along with the right and the left brain, because at the end, when you're like making that connection between heaven and earth, it was my brain that was lit up with this electrical light, like shooting out. And when you made that connection, it was like lightning rods that just went whoosh. It was so cool. The whole thing was so cool. I could just go on. Everybody was reminding me of things, you know, you forget. There's just so much. It's like history unveiling in 1 hour. Of past, present, future, and what, you know, woo. Anyway, so cool. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Jalen. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, guys. That was a great one. I must say, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I could physically feel a lot of what was going on in my body. And so, yes, awesome. So we're looking forward to next week. So obviously next week is the first week in September. It's the 1st of September. So we're going to start with our first training session just on the spiritual senses. So it's going to be basic, short teaching, and do some practical, etc., so that we can just start to mature where we are struggling and start to learn to engage and what we can do to practice, etc. I think it's important to grow the group moving forward. And especially now, I think you can really sense it that Yahweh is really taking us deeper. There's just a sense of that reverence and fear, that depth. It's like the density of the presence becoming very tangible. You know, it's like you can cut with a knife. So I'm super excited where we're going forward here and what Jesus is doing. And I want to say to you guys, I'm so proud of you. I love how you guys are chatting, because, I mean, how many people welcome Nikki? It is so awesome. I love that. It just shows you how we've grown as a community. And I really love you guys big time. I'm so privileged to have you guys here with me. Lastly, as you see, I launched the next course, the Ascension Matrix of Ezekiel. So it's very Ascension focused. So if you would like to understand you as a temple, the staircase of rising and going deeper in the spirit realm, and what Ezekiel did and engaged, etc., it's going to be super awesome. And yes, I love you. You must have a most marvelous week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shaw. Love you.
Blessings. Thank
Home,
you.
everyone.
Bless
Thank you, guys.
everyone.
See you
Yes,
all.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Ciao, guys. Keep well.
As you can see, we never want to leave you. It's so good.
seems
Thank you
so.
so much. Just the awe and the weightiness is just amazing. Wow.
It was precious.
Yes.
It really
Thank
was
you so
amazing.
much. Blessings and shalom. I don't know how to.
Bye-bye, Evie.